Yes, here we are, guys. Woo, yeah. Welcome everyone to another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their lives and their books and their campaigns. Because people often invite me to their shows and give me time on their platforms, and I appreciate it. And I want to do something in return for this amazing indie comics community. Whew. Okay, guys. It's good that I do this for myself also, not also for other people, but for myself. So I am forced to stop working. So this is work. Also, I have to prepare this, but otherwise I would be writing all day. So I'm like, oh, I have this thing I need to do today. So I have to prepare this. I can do some other things. I have to grab my drink. And I can relax a little bit, and because this hour is about the guest, so we will bring the guest on in a few minutes. But before we do so, I will say hello to Aria. Hello, Aria. Aria Blackness, welcome. Drink. Yes. Non-alcoholic beverages. And then we have Caroline. Hey, welcome, Caroline. Welcome. Yeah. Guys, a little update. I try to update people every Sunday before we start. Every Sunday, I'm not sure if I have much to say besides that we're still working on the comics. And some of you know that my campaigns are basically shadow banned on Indiegogo, but still I'm getting backers. So people are still sharing the links, and through the direct links you can still get to the campaigns and you can back it. So I'm very, very grateful for all the help and the support. Thank you very much. And today YouTube informed me that I had this new feature. So they unlocked this feature for me that I can now make community posts. So I made my first community post. I'm not sure why I suddenly can do this, because I thought this was a feature that you unlocked once you had 500 subscribers. We now have 398, so 2 more, and we're at 400. So okay, so yeah, so I don't know what happened, but I'm very grateful. I will try to make the most of that. So yeah. Anyway, I don't have much news, but we have a very interesting guest today. And I usually don't do campaigns that are on Kickstarter. I was more like I moved over to Indiegogo, and I was like, this is my thing now. This is my platform. I did a few Kickstarter campaigns. So it's not like it's taboo. That's not at all. But most of the people that are in this network or in this community go to Indiegogo. But sometimes they have things on Kickstarter. So and by the way, Indiegogo is acting a little bit strange. So I was like, let's do a Kickstarter campaign this time, and we have a very interesting campaign. So with a very interesting guest. So let's just bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a warm welcome for Pablo Rincon.
Amazing. I love that little gif. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Really glad to see you all. Glad to meet you all. My name is Pablo Rincon. I go by Geladaa. That's my artist pseudonym online. Yeah. And I do comic books. That's what I do. I write them and I draw them. That's
yeah.
what I do.
I wasn't sure if I should introduce you as Pablo or as Geladaa.
Either way, it's okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So does Geladaa mean something?
It's a kind of monkey.
Monkey.
Monkey. It's a kind of type of baboon that I used to think looked really beautiful way back when. It's a pseudonym I chose as a kid, and I haven't changed it out of respect for my younger self.
Right.
Because it doesn't really mean anything. It's just something that I just don't want to change because of that.
Exactly. Because you want to stay connected with that child inside of you.
That's right. Exactly. 100%. Yeah.
A few more people came in today. Amanda B. Welcome, Amanda B. Welcome.
Hello, Amanda B.
Past Master Dan. Welcome, Past Master Dan. Welcome, sir. Past Master Dan asks, like a gibbon.
Like a gibbon? No, it's a type of baboon.
Baboon.
You can look it up. They live in the mountains, and they have this just giant mane of hair. And when they roar, they have their lips peeled back, and they look really fierce and really interesting.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
sounds dangerous.
I'm not sure they are actually dangerous because they're social. They have pretty big groups. So yeah, they're just really photogenic, I think.
Right. Yes. Then we have in the chat 58 Underground. Hello, 58 Underground. Welcome. And we have Mo Biggs. Welcome, Mo Biggs. Nice to see Mo. Ooh, a lot of awesome people. And we have J-Bot Art. Welcome. Perfect time for a break from work and a cup of coffee. Hail panel, hail chat. Yeah, thank you, coffee.
That's great.
That reminds me, Pablo, I need to ask you, because that's the theme of the show. What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I have a cup of tea here. I believe it's a black currant. It's a girlfriend made, so it's really great. But it's a little bit too hot to drink right now.
All right. Well, we have 1 hour, so it can cool off, right?
Yeah, sure.
Shadowhawk Talks. Welcome, Shadowhawk Talks. Welcome. All right. So you already told me, but for the viewers, where are you from, Pablo?
I'm from Mexico. I'm Mexican. I actually have a bit of a connection to England because I was born there. My parents were studying when I was born over there. I could have perhaps found a way to have a citizenship, but I didn't really. I think the laws changed, so I don't. And yeah, I'm a comic book author from Mexico. I do comic books that are a little bit more on the, like, following the European tradition. Of course, some of things like, Judge Dredd, but mostly influenced by French comics, by bande dessinée, things like Moebius, etc. Of course, there's a lot of superhero stuff and manga stuff that I really love as well. Yeah.
Right. So how did it start? So did you read comics when you were very young?
I was a big, actually, I was really, really into books, into literature, as a kid. I used to read many books per week. I wanted to be a writer. It was when I became a teenager that I started discovering comic books and really shifted into drawing much more than writing. And yeah, I have actually, it's actually my favorite artistic medium. I think it's the best. It's the most beautiful thing in the world, comic books.
Right.
And,
Yes.
yeah, and I want to really exploit the medium. I feel that there's not a lot of people working in comics that have really big formal ambitions for the medium. Like they're not specifically excited about comic books to the maybe degree that I feel that I am. I think the medium itself is really interesting.
Right. Yes. Wait. I saw some people. Uh, Aria says, "I'm also from Mexico."
Hello, yeah, hola, hola. Mm. ¿Cómo
And
estamos, pues, no?
Aria also has his connection
Buenos
with England.
días. Yeah.
Past Macedon says, "They say you belong to the land you were born on."
Yeah, well, that there's a little bit of truth to that because
Oh.
my number one artist that I admire is John Milton. The British English poet. So
Right.
yeah, I have a lot of course, respect and admiration for Britain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Aria says, also, you may not be a British citizen, but you're welcome in CG UK. Yes. Right.
Okay, here.
Okay, so you have this very interesting style. So most influence you had for your own work was European comics, right?
I actually, yeah, the idea of European comics, it's very much the concept of the ninth art. You go to a comic book store in France and you see a lot of people from all ages that are buying comics, and comics that extend way beyond just superheroes. A lot of
Of course.
autobiographical stuff, but also, for example, serious science fiction, and a lot of very different things. And the mentality is much more to have one artist generally control the whole thing, or to really work on something for a long time,
Right.
instead of it being like a monthly thing, like monthly
Right.
adventures. It's a big graphic novel, so I'm more into that and to that side of things. Yeah.
Tony Horton, welcome, Tony. Nice to see you. Yeah, you mentioned something that you thought you had the idea that a lot of comic creators, their heart wasn't really into it, right? It was.
It's not that I don't think that they care. It's just that it's maybe it's something that's difficult to explain, but it's the formal side of things. Like you have a story to tell, and the story deeply matters to you. I'm sure to everyone that does comics, but they're not specifically that excited about the medium, about the language of the medium, about the possibilities, or the formal possibilities of the medium. And I put a lot of emphasis in my work into making things that make you feel like, hey, I hadn't ever seen that sort of thing in comics before, but not only in the content, in the story, but also in the way something is expressed, or in a certain, like the formal side of things, the language side of things is. But of course, I'm not here to say that other people care less about their comics than me. It's just that I feel that there's not a lot of formal interest in the medium, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is. I'm not sure if that's a little bit what you're alluding to, but I think that this is mostly a phenomenon nowadays with corporate comics. So with the bigger studios, the superhero books, they hire people now who basically don't really care about
Yeah,
comic books. They
yeah, yeah,
don't care
yeah.
about the characters or the canon or the fans.
The
They just
canon, yeah, that's a huge thing. The total disregard for the canon. You have a lot of characters now. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
no
you have a
worries.
lot of characters nowadays that they're just completely new characters. They have nothing to do with the characters they used to be, and I that really bothers me a lot. Yeah,
Right,
and
right. So you are familiar with the superhero stories
yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, yeah, of course, yeah.
Right, right. Do they have this the big market in Mexico for
Uh,
comics?
yeah, we do. We are mostly really big fans of Japanese animation in comic in
Oh, really?
Mexico. Yeah,
Right.
like Dragon Ball Z is pretty much the second religion of the country, and
Oh, really? Yeah.
it's really, 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 really popular. But comics are also a big part of thing. And nowadays, with the Marvel films, and everyone pretty much in the world is, I think, familiar with those characters.
Right.
So yeah, yeah.
Mike, welcome, Mike. Aha! No one expects the Dutch Inquisition.
That's from Monty Python. No, I don't. Okay, forget it.
Yeah,
Isn't that a quote from Monty Python? I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
It sounds like Monty Python.
Um, and Past Master Dan says they are bringing back the curl. Hail Cavill's new Superman.
The people, you can tell that people are somewhat starved for quality in comics when
Sure.
they celebrate so dearly something so simple as the Superman curl. Like, wow, and that's a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah. Just these little things, man. These
yeah.
are so. So this is the thing when franchises get too big. It used to be that it was just for nerds. We were like we liked these comic books, and we were the only one that we knew who actually liked comic books.
Yeah,
Nowadays, it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like everyone needs to read comic books. Not only that, but they make movies, they make games, they make everything, and they change everything because there are like 10,000 people working on all these projects, and everyone wants their own creative input. So everything gets ultimately altered from what it from what it was in the beginning. From
And
what made
yeah,
it
and
popular to begin with.
and a lot of corporate decisions, no, like a lot of
Yeah,
decisions made by marketing teams and
right.
people with a certain political agenda. Often, also, I feel it's uh, it's not that I'm against a certain political agenda necessarily, but
Hmm.
it should be more, I think, like the work of an artist, not
Hmm.
the work of a board. So yeah,
Right.
that's a shame. But there's a lot of great stuff still being published, I feel.
Sure. You kind of brand yourself with your American of with your Mexican heritage, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
say,
yeah.
you call yourself the Mexican,
The
right?
Mexican, I find that pretty funny. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I sort of don't like that. I do it just because I have focused so far very much in the work for years with the idea of if you build it, they will come, and
Hmm.
it hasn't really worked out too well. So I'm really trying to get more into marketing and networking and just putting myself out there. And you have to have an impact with so few words in a tweet.
Hmm.
And for a lot of people they care about where a certain author comes from. And maybe I wish they didn't. And my comics are, I don't think they're particularly Mexican. They're a mix of my influences. And
Hmm.
yeah, some of them are Mexican. There's specifically many Mexican photographers that I really admire. But yeah, I say that, but maybe I don't wish that you all think mainly of me as a Mexican, but
Right. Yes.
whatever. Well, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Mike says, "Hello. Well, I kept looking for a pre-show link. Hadn't seen one before going live. Oh, I don't know why that is. Eslin, welcome, Eslin. Long time no see. Welcome, welcome. She says the intent should be to entertain. Right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I gotta say, Pablo, when you first reached out to me, I saw this Mexican branding, and I was like,
Yeah, you're
not
right.
because you're
Yeah,
Mexican, but because people are getting tired of creators branding themselves through their born traits, like I am black, or I'm gay, or I'm female. Back
yeah.
my book, I don't give a shit. And
Yeah, but you're right. I
yeah,
agree with you. But the thing is that normally people like you, they sort of don't care, and we'll sort of tolerate that.
mhm,
But the other side, they will really care about that sort of thing. So I believe I gambled correctly in that you sort of forgave that and just perhaps looked at the work. I don't know. But I'm 100%. I agree with you on that.
sure. Because I checked out your campaign, and I was like, this is pretty original. Your style is very original.
Thank
It
you.
it looks a little bit like these yellow submarine.
Mm. Yeah, I
It's
can see
great
that. Yeah,
from the Beatles,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
that kind of style. Yeah.
Do you know Al Columbia?
No.
Al Columbia? No. Okay. It's okay. I look a bit like Al Columbia. If you Google it, it's a really interesting horror based. Like he does a lot of horror. I
Oh,
believe
really?
he's from United States. It's sort of 30s cartoons, Popeye, 30s era, that sort of thing, but really macabre, really like in the horror side of things. But
Right.
well, okay.
Right.
It's
Past Master Dan has to go, I think. Thank you for dropping by, man. Yeah. So yeah. What else? What else? We can take a look at your page. You have your own page, right?
I
Before
do.
we check out your book, you have your own. So you are building your own brand, your own site, your own thing here.
That's right.
And you have a site called, let me see,
There it
called
is.
Geladaa.com.
Gelada.com. Yeah, right now it's just blocking everything in hell because that's the priority right now. But yeah, sequential art. I don't even remember what it says below, but okay, sequential something. But
Yeah. When you click here, you go to your site. I can't click
to
it away.
the Kickstarter. Yeah, if you click
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
you go to the Kickstarter.
exactly. Yes. So yeah, pick a site. What happens when I do this?
You go to samples of the book. I believe some of them perhaps are not safe for work. Well, there you can see
Yeah,
like
you
a
sure?
werewolf. You can see a werewolf's penis there,
All
but
right. Oh no, a penis.
is that really horrible? Maybe it's
No,
really
that's not
horrible.
horrible. People can handle it.
Okay, yeah,
Red rockets, right? So yeah. But yeah, your style is very colorful. It's very urban, I think.
urban. Yeah, I hadn't heard that one before. Yeah, yeah, maybe a little bit of that. I have a lot of influence from the
Wait.
world of. I want to use the word art, but
Yeah.
I'm not using it in a way to mean stuff that is better. By the world of art, I just mean sort of culture that has a great deal of respect for the people that are consuming it.
Right.
So when you go to a gallery, for example, and you see a lot of weird stuff, the idea is that the author is saying, "Hey, this is sort of a mystery. This is sort of a puzzle. You have to solve it. You have to engage it."
Mhm.
So as opposed to entertainment, which I really enjoy, of course, as well, that is much more about seducing you, hypnotizing you. So I want to try to do something that is both, that is entertaining and engaging, but that is also a bit of a mystery and a bit of a puzzle to be solved and something that rewards attention. So one of my big influences is this artist called Takashi Murakami.
Mhm.
He's a Japanese artist that does sort of pop art. And yeah, my stuff looks a lot like, well, tries to look like like some of what he does. Yeah,
Right.
really colorful. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. My eyes. The goggles do nothing. But yeah.
I'm. If I could just add, I'm a bit obsessed, both visually and thematically, with rainbows.
Okay.
And the rainbow has been really popular lately. When I was a kid, rainbows were all about globalization. It's
Right.
a small
Yeah.
world after all the cultures of the world. And nowadays they've become, for homosexuality and other groups
Mm.
like that. And I have nothing against any kind of people, any color of people, but my idea of the rainbow is not really about specifically those sort of things. But yeah, a lot of colors. Yeah.
Right. Do you still feel comfortable like using the rainbow as your theme or color set or
Yeah. I don't want to yield it. I think
Mm.
it's sort of a big thing to yield, like refracted light. You
Yes.
don't want to just say, okay, you own that, I can't use it. I don't think it's really fair. Because rainbows are really interesting phenomenon or
Mm.
phenomena, I don't
Absolutely.
know. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Anyway, you have your own site. People can check it out. The link is in the description, guys. If you want to see it. Okay, we can look at your campaign. Usually, Pablo, right now is the time when I show people the trailer for the
You can
campaign.
do that. It's okay. It's
Yeah, you can do it. I can do it,
how
but I checked out the trailer and basically it tells everything. So I decided I'm not going to
hmm.
show it because I want you to tell it to us.
Okay.
So let's just this is your campaign.
That's right.
It's called In Hell, rebel, blonde, nerd, jock, artist, feminist. This was also a trigger word. I was like, you had
Yeah.
so you had the Mexican, you had the rainbow colors, you had the word feminist, and I was
Yes. A lot of worrisome flags there.
yes, yes. Meet something that looks like a clown in hell. All right, you have 37 days left. You have 30 backers, and you raised over $1,000. And you have a 1,537 goal. So you have a little bit to go.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you still have plenty of time. Right. Okay. Geladaa presents In Hell. Tell
That's
us
right.
a little bit about this concept.
So I like to perhaps start with the references, because I feel that it's a good thing also to if you have a point of reference, you can also differentiate from it and your merit. So I say that this is a little bit like The Breakfast Club, if you remember that movie. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
Meets Beetlejuice,
Right.
meets let's say Dante's Inferno.
Right.
So there's the social dimension of these characters. They're six teenagers. Let's say that they're all 18 years old, because they
Hmm.
do a lot of things that underage persons wouldn't be legally allowed to do. So they're 18 years old, and they're sort of archetypical. So you have the rebel without a cause, you have the jock, you have the nerd, etc. And
Hmm.
the feminist, yeah, it's an important voice. I could also change it for the word idealist, maybe, instead of feminist.
Hmm.
And they all awaken in this surreal space, in this sort of very fog-drenched beach, and they are informed, sort of by a booming, ominous voice in the sky, that they are dead and they are condemned to an eternity in hell.
Right. So this is how the comic starts. They start
That's
out
that's the
dead.
start of the comic, yeah.
Right. Okay.
They actually materialize in a really strange way.
Hmm.
So you can tell from the start that they're not actually human. Perhaps they have human souls, which is to be determined as the story goes on. But they are certainly not human bodies, even if they look human. And yeah, that sort of revelation that they listen to will spur them on to conflict and then into adventure. This is the idea. I have the first chapter is complete. It's 30 pages and will be distributed immediately to backers upon the successful completion of the campaign. But I really have this whole story planned out, this sort of epic adventure planned out, with many future chapters in the to come. Yeah.
Right. So the book is done. The first chapter is completely
The first
done.
chapter completely done. Yeah.
All you need to do now is get the funding, and the books will be printed and sent out. Right.
The goal right now is to the books are not going to be printed right now. What you have the option to get is a high resolution, beautiful PDF file.
Right.
You can look at in your computer or in your TV or in your tablet. It's way cheaper, and it's also way more practical. And the idea is that you can get the first chapter and just stay there. You can also go a tier a little bit above, and you can get not only the first chapter, but you then sort of subscribe for weekly updates. And the concept is to have a little mysterious bits of the story and the concepts delivered to you each week, so that you have something to look forward each week. And you don't get the story spoiled, but you do get the feeling, hopefully, that you're going on an adventure with these characters, and then you arrive at chapter 2, and then you get it. And my plan is just to hop along from chapter to chapter, hopefully building more of an audience each time, and have the story evolve that way. And eventually, when it is all done, to have it printed, of course, in offset, beautiful hardcover, etc. That's the goal. Yeah.
Right. And then you're going to sell it through your website.
Yeah, maybe through my website, maybe through my campaign. I have other comic books that are for sale in my website, digitally and physically, at least for the time being. And those do ship to Europe, and I'm really proud of them as objects. It's just that it's, of course, expensive to ship things to Europe. So I couldn't do the free shipping for the campaign. But if you want the books physically, you can get in through my website.
All right.
The previous books, I mean, the 2 previous graphic novels I've made.
Sure. Yeah. Mike says, I agree, Pablo. I have reminisced on that very element of rainbows in decoration recently, especially from watching 80s and 90s media. Yeah, it kind of changed, right? The feeling you have now when you see this rainbow.
Yeah.
And he says, other than Krusty and maybe Bozo, hell is the origin of clowns in general.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Clowns. Yeah, I'm really in love with clowns. But yeah, they're really. That's right. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's amazing. Yeah, a big influence. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. That's an awesome film.
So these are panels from the comic, right?
These are panels, yeah.
Right.
That is all from the comic book. The comic book does.
I'm not sure what we're looking at here.
You're looking at
It's a leg.
A sexual encounter between. Yeah, it's a butt. It's a leg. There's quite a bit of violent and sexual content on the comic book.
Right.
And yeah, that's just not for kids, but.
His style is really original.
Thank you.
It's not something you see very often.
I believe I share with you also a link to the. If you want later, or maybe for bigger pictures.
Oh. He removed himself, guys. I didn't do anything, so hopefully he will come back. Mike says, I like the imagination of this premise. It seems very Central South Latin American in how its inventiveness also reminds me of that from Pedro Ang's Tropical Magics. Yeah, man. It's original. Okay. I hope Pablo will find his way back here. So yeah, it's so these backgrounds are completely different from the foreground in style. It's very detailed. Well, here we have the feminist. Yeah, Christine, the feminist. Yeah. So, well, Pablo is gone for a bit. Inconsistent internet, maybe. I don't know. I think he's trying to get back right now. So yeah, but guys, anyway, American Bliss, we're still here. We're still here for 8 days. So 8 days, and then it's over. So no extension, no InDemand, and Pablo is back.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Okay, I was looking for the link and I got lost there in the tabs.
Yeah,
yeah, here I am. Yeah, that actually looks really great. American Bliss,
it's
Father's
completely
Pride.
different from what you make, but
no, but I like it. It's a really wholesome looking girl right there, and it's also
yeah.
very wholesome to have patriotism is very wholesome, I think.
Right. Yeah, she's one of the archetypes in your book, right? The
blonde,
bombshell
yeah.
blonde. Yeah.
The bombshell blonde, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. So if you have something to show us, just share with me, Pablo.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Maybe some
you put
pictures
it in
that are a little bit bigger resolution, but it's pretty much the same thing as a campaign. So maybe I don't know. You be the judge whether it's best to go there or to remain in the campaign.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have the. I was just noticing, right? You have this very open style. Very it's mainly line work, like outlines, and then the background is very detailed. The background looks like it's made through a very different artistic medium.
Yeah, it's sort of like painting, and
Right.
it will become much more organic as it goes on, because right now the first chapter happens mainly in this sort of surreal beach. So there's a lot of it's kind of sparse. You can see there in the bottom right panel that it's a bit of a sparse surreal landscape.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes really very dense visually as it goes on. But I'm in love of that style of having clean characters with outlines and flat colors, and then to have detailed backgrounds, because I feel it's a good way to go into the story, to have that contrast.
Yes, it gives me a cartoony feel. You often have this with cartoons. You have these the detailed painted backgrounds.
Exactly.
And then the figures need to be more simple because they need to be animated, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's sort of the spirit.
Right.
And
we have the characters here. We have the feminist.
And I'm pretty proud of the text. Christine the feminist. You say, a strong woman that rises erect in defiance to the role others deem fit for Zer. An idealist. Zer, yeah, that's her pronoun.
Oh no.
An idealist above nobility in a crusade against evil. Yeah, and this is the part I'm pretty proud of. What would the shape of Zer heart be if said evil was ever to yield? Their heart is a wound. It's like I'm very, very much in the side that is critical of many of the social phenomena that you see nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I want to sort of have a hero, a heroine that is part of that movement, to have her sort of hopefully grow out of it in the story.
Right.
And
she kind of goes along with the flow, what's with the popular mindset, ideology.
Well, actually, these characters are to sort of jump a little bit ahead. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but the characters eventually they have the combined memories of mankind inside of them.
Oh.
So it's like
wow.
they are like they remember being having every kind of relationship between them and doing a
Right.
lot of stuff. So she wouldn't be a follower. She would be she would be like the reincarnation of Marx or Plato or
Right.
some of other socialists from the past. But the thing is that I believe there's actually a core that is pretty valuable inside those movements, even if they very often become really tragic and really destructive.
Hmm.
And I wanted to have a part of the group of heroes be a representative of that sort of idealism. And
That's a
yeah,
very interesting angle. Mike says a very non-North American animation style. It feels like I appreciate that.
thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Then we have the rebel without a cause. Yeah, that's a known archetype. Barbie. Also, the names. The names are pretty like the first name that you can think of. That's their name.
Immediately, yeah,
Yeah.
the very on the nose. And
Yes.
yeah, but you see, one thing that's really interesting to me is that people like to say that, oh, you have to create characters that are alive, you have to make them more complex or more nuanced or more specific, like
Mhm.
less of an archetype, right?
Right.
But what I want to sort of show with my interactions between these characters are that you have sort of these big categories and people that break down to be like sub versions or combinations of those. And
Subversions. Yeah.
so, yeah, like you're a bit of a jock, but you're not only a jock, you're this or that. And I
Mhm.
want to have heroes that are really representatives of the very big like impulses in humanity. So yeah, Barbie the blonde would be like Venus de Milo or something like that, like that sort of, or Helen of Troy, that sort of idea of a woman that has immense intrinsic passive value,
Right.
and
But are they actual characters, or are they like
no,
representations of characters?
no, they are. I mean, they very much. I want you to empathize with them. I'm
Yeah.
pretty in love with them myself, with all of them. But yeah, it's also a sort of a bit of a concept, something to engage with a little bit intellectually also.
Right. She's the cat lady, I think. Right.
The cat lady, she's the artist, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. The artist.
Yeah, yeah, the artist, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dexter, of course.
They're sort of divided into groups. So if you see the first group, they're both rebels. They're both about rebelling.
All right. Oh,
But
that's
the
the reason you
difference,
put them
like,
together.
like the difference is that one is a rebel without a cause, and the other one is a rebel with a cause.
Right. Okay.
And then they both have the hair, the sort of
Yes.
the sort of pompadour, etc. And then
But
the other
yeah, but they will also conflict, right? With
they also conflict, yeah, very much so.
Easter.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the rebel, yeah, like Johnny would be the main. Johnny would be like Trump, basically, that
All right.
sort of character. And then you have other characters that are sort of the social ones, and you see they're both wearing uniforms because of that, and they're
Right.
very much part of. Instead of being rebels, they're sort of the establishment, the collective, the social aspect of things, and they're both engaged with maintaining a sort of status quo. And then you have the third category, which is the nerd and the artist, and they represent the complete outsiders, like the observers, that the people that don't rebel and don't maintain the status quo, but rather they sort of have this completely alien or outsider perspective of seeking to distance themselves either by contemplation in the artistic sense or by intellectual
Right.
description of the world. So
Right. Observational. Yeah.
observational, yeah,
Very
that's
good,
the
man.
idea. Mm.
Excellent. Wow. So was this all Was this always the plan when you conceived this story? You wanted these archetypes in there, that was part of the story, or did it grow that way?
It actually came from a sort of a waking nightmare, if I can just briefly go into it.
Waking dream.
Because a waking dream, but a really horrible one. I used to travel. I don't really travel much anymore, but I used to travel, and I was in a plane, and I was really afraid of the plane, of being in the plane, and there was a lot of turbulence. And I was really having a lot of fear, and I was looking at this guy that was right beside the door of the plane. And I started to feel really afraid that he wanted maybe to open the door and destroy the plane, you know?
Right, yeah.
And I had this image that I don't know why, that like he would say like, I'm gonna kill you all, and all of your souls will belong to me in hell. Like maybe he was some sort of a wizard, and he was going to kill the plane, but also sort of grab a hold of the souls of everyone. And then the good thing about that is that it's just this sort of unheeded fantasy thought that artists sort of have to deal with, you know, obsessive things that assault you. But then I started thinking, wouldn't it be really interesting then to follow what his adventures would be in this new dimension? Like, and the idea of groups like Gilligan's Island or Lost in Space, and that sort of group in an alien space came to me. And I thought, oh, that could be a really cool story to have characters be sort of reborn in another magical dimension and be tethered to each other and have to sort of progress and see where that leads them.
Right.
So I was really, like, it seemed so awful. But then the story sort of grew out of that. And the idea is that these characters are not there, you know, in my story to be punished, but rather the idea of hell in my comic is a world where there is no God. So what that means is that you don't have to contend with an external authority.
Right.
So you impose whatever you have to the extent that you have the strength to impose it. So the characters start to transform as they go along, and they become much more like creatures. And the realm becomes weirder and weirder, and they have adventure, and they meet antagonistic lords of hell and things like that. And
so a little bit, is this a commentary on social?
I wouldn't like that word. No, it's an adventure. It's a horror, fantasy, romance adventure. And you're not going to get anything that's remotely preachy. You know, I detest preachiness in comics. I hate it. So
no, just when you said it was a godless world, and sometimes we have the feeling that we're heading towards that, you know.
Yeah.
But completely unrelated, right?
No, the idea of just a godless world is just, I think what I mean by godless world is just a world where there is no set authority.
Right, yes.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
Mike says, and no need for those outsider characters to throw soup on classic art either.
Okay. Throw soup on classic art. I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, you didn't get these you have these activists. They
yeah. That's right. Yeah. No. The one that would throw the soup would be Christine, maybe the feminist.
Oh, right, yeah.
No.
And then you have Boogie the Clown.
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
That's sort of that would be the wizard, like the one that killed them all.
Okay.
Like he would be the center of the group, and he appears at the end of the first chapter.
Right.
And it's a character I'm really in love with. You'll see. He's a pretty fierce little bastard. Yeah.
He looks like a Disney character, like a like animated old Disney cartoon, you know.
He's based on the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. All right. And we have the rewards, the things you get, right? Yeah, because here in with Indiegogo, you can place these pictures there, right? So you have to do it here.
I have to do it there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the PDF for around $9.
That's right. That's 30 pages, and they're really
Yeah.
dense pages. You know, there's not talking heads on a black. No, there's every page is a painting. You get a lot for $9.
Right. So 30 pages of quality artwork
That's
for
right.
for $9 plus interesting
Plus,
story. Yeah.
that's
Excellent.
right.
And then for $19 you get In Hell Adventure, which is the PDF plus a code entitling you to weekly art updates, right?
And then the second chapter when the second chapter is done. Yeah.
When it's done, right? Okay, cool. So
And
when do you think the second chapter is done?
I more or less do like one double page per week. I pour a lot of thought into my pages. Like I said, I try to do pages that are like paintings, you know, that have the density of paintings.
Right. Yeah.
So you can, and I'm not spectacularly fast. I would expect maybe realistically a year.
Okay.
But that would also mean that it would be a year of constant art updates. You know, you wouldn't have to just wait for it, and there would be a constant line of communication and a constant line of content there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Then you have the Pandemonium pack. What's that?
That includes my previous two works, which are called, it's two graphic novels. One of them is called Not Freak Squeal. That's the entire title. And the other one is called Secret Reunion in Carfax Lodge. And Secret Reunion in Carfax Lodge is nearly 300 pages long. It's a really big thing that I did.
Oh, wow.
And the way I sort of sum them up both up is that they're the strangest versions of Dracula that you will ever see. They're sort of a science fiction, fantasy, very colorful graphic novels. And you can get them either digitally via the Pandemonium pack, and you get the rest also, or you can get them physically if you live in the United States with the complete treasure pack. Of course, if you want them physically in the UK or in Europe or anywhere else, you can just contact me via my website, and we can determine the shipping cost so that everything is transparent, and you get them also physically over there.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Discover
right.
Also.
Yeah, that's the comic books. Yeah.
Okay, comic books, right? A minute-long introduction. Yeah, people can check this out. The link, guys, is pinned in the chat, and it's also in the description of the video. So please check it out. You have some videos here, some links to videos. You have some peeks at art. This is you.
That's me. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great. Excellent. Is there something else you want us to know about this campaign that we haven't discussed?
Well, one thing that I can say is that if you you might very well be the person that makes it cross the line, you know, that makes it happen. Right. So I really want to, you know, encourage people to take the plunge. The thing I can guarantee is that you will not be disappointed by it. Like I can't. It wouldn't be meaningful for me to say that it's so great and it's amazing. But one that's for others to say, of course. But the one thing I can say is that it's really different. Like you haven't really. It's going to be completely different to anything you've seen before.
Yeah, I
for better or worse.
I think so also.
Yeah, and it's also I think it's pretty serious visually. I think you can see that I've made a big effort to learn how to draw and to do things that are, you know, that I'm not disrespecting my audience. I'm providing something that is serious work, and it's really different.
Yeah, it's unique.
And
Yeah.
I hope so, and I hope that people do choose to take the plunge, and it's not a lot of money, but it makes a huge difference for me, and yeah, that's the idea.
Right.
And you will get something immediately for Christmas, so you wouldn't have to wait a year or months, or at the end of December you would get the first chapter. And I'm really proud of that first chapter, so you would have something to look forward to in the very near future if you do choose to back it.
Exactly, because you will send it out as soon as the campaign is done.
That's right.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you have 30 backers now. Let's refresh. If 30 backers.
Still 30 backers.
Yes. Ah, damn it.
And if you choose to back it right now, you get the pleasure of being the soul that frees me from that 30 backers number that has been staring at me for a couple of days now, and I detest it.
Zero.
So, yeah,
zero needs.
This zero
to
needs to go. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Well, it's a very interesting looking campaign. The concept is unique. I think you have a very interesting artistic brain. The way that you think, it's interesting.
But there's a lot of sex in it, and there's a lot of violence in it, and there's a lot of fantasy in it. There's a lot, maybe not a lot, but it's not pornographic, but it's don't expect it to be only this sort of cerebral thing. There's a lot of meat in there. There's blood. There's naked women. There's action, fantasy. So yeah.
Yes, violence, sex. You should have started with that. So maybe we now had 40 back. Okay. Great looking campaign, man. Guys, check it out. Share it, please. Tell everyone about this campaign. It's
please.
It's interesting. Mike says more Hollywood than Walter Disney.
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
A bit of both, maybe.
And guys, while you check this out, you can also still back Perfect 10 issue 3 and Crossworlds, but only for a few more days. I think Wednesday or Thursday, the InDemand stage ends. I opted out. It will end because I'm not getting any more backers anyway, because this shadow banned. And American Bliss is also shadow banned, but people are still backing. So thank you very much. Keep sharing it, guys. And after 8 days, this will also close. We won't go in demand. We will not extend. This is it. This is done. So then we can have this book finished and printed and shipped out. Okay. Stop sharing. Pablo, thank you very much for being my guest today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are very welcome. Oh, and Mike has a question. Please ask the question, Mike. So yeah,
I don't know if it's for maybe
Pablo.
It's for you.
For me. Ooh,
yeah,
I don't know. Let's wait what it is. But yeah, so yeah. And I will be guys, I will be having a few extra episodes of A Drink with Brink, because there are so many people with campaigns nowadays who can use the help, who can use some more eyes on their campaigns. So next Tuesday I will have Ben here, Fusebox, to talk about Outlaw Nights Part 2. So yeah, and then Sunday after that, the regular Drink with Brink. Okay, Mike asks, will you stream before ending the Perfect 10 campaign? I'm considering something big there before it ends. We can do that. The thing is, I don't really know. I think it will be Thursday. Because you can tell Indiegogo on what date you want to end it. So I said November 17th. So maybe we can do a stream on the Wednesday before. So yeah, we can do that. We can do that, Mike. So this would mean next Wednesday. Okay. Again, Pablo, thank you. Good luck with your campaign, guys. Share these campaigns out, and special thanks to you guys, to everyone who watched us, for showing up and for liking and for sharing and for commenting and for the questions. And you guys are awesome. I hope to see you next Tuesday for the extra episode. So thank you all, and see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
America has a new hero, and she kicks butt. Join American Bliss in her exciting first issue as she finds her way as the new champion of freedom.